Hey everyone, welcome to the mysterious world. In the heart of Egypt's deserts lies an ancient city, a city steeped in mystery, history, and divine reverence. Hidden beneath the sands of time lies Abydos, where the whispers of ancient pharaohs echo through forgotten temples and the secrets of the afterlife are carved into stone. Abydos, one of the oldest cities of ancient Egypt, holds secrets that have fascinated scholars, adventurers, and dreamers alike for millennia. Located about 160 kilometers north of Luxor, Abydos was once a thriving center of worship, and today it stands as one of the most significant archaeological sites in the world. Abydos is not just a city, it's a key to understanding the soul of ancient Egypt. This sacred city was the burial place of Egypt's early kings and, according to tradition, the final resting place of Osiris, the god of the afterlife, the underworld, and the dead. For ancient Egyptians, Abydos was the spiritual heart of their civilization. Pilgrimages were made here by those seeking to pay homage to Osiris and secure a place in the afterlife. Abydos has long been a religious center, initially dedicated to the local god Kshenchemenchu. By the end of the Old Kingdom, it became increasingly associated with the cult of Osiris. Over time, a belief emerged that the early dynastic cemetery at Abydos was the final resting place of Osiris, with the tomb of the pharaoh Jer being re-identified as Osiris's tomb. Tomb decorations across Egypt, like the one shown to the right, often depict pilgrimages made by wealthy families to Abydos in honor of this revered site. One of the most iconic structures in Abydos is the Temple of Seti I, built by the pharaoh Seti I and completed by his son, Ramses II. This temple is a masterpiece of Egyptian architecture and artistry. The Temple of Seti I was constructed on entirely new ground, located about half a mile south of the previously mentioned series of temples. This surviving structure, often referred to as the Great Temple of Abydos, is notable for its impressive state of preservation and grandeur. Its primary purpose was to honor King Seti I and to pay homage to the early pharaohs, as reflected in the rite of the ancestors practiced within the temple. A key feature of the temple is the Abydos King List, a long inscription that records the names of the pharaohs from Egypt's main dynasties, as recognized by Seti. This list, which begins with the first pharaoh, Narmer or Menes, and continues up to Seti's time, notably excludes certain rulers. The Table of Abydos, rediscovered by William John Banks, is a rare and nearly complete record of pharaonic names, earning it the nickname Rosetta Stone of Egyptian archaeology, due to its significance in understanding Egypt's royal history, much like the Rosetta Stone is for Egyptian writing. The Temple of Seti I also featured 7 chapels dedicated to the worship of the pharaoh and key deities. These included 3 chapels for the state gods Ta, Re, Horikti, and Amun, the central one, along with chapels for the Abydos triad of Osiris, Isis, and Horus. The rituals depicted in these chapels represent the earliest complete version of the daily ritual, which was performed in temples across Egypt during the pharaonic era. At the rear of the temple lies the Osirian, a mysterious structure that served as a cenotaph for Seti Osiris and is believed to be associated with Osiris worship, representing an Osiris tomb. It is speculated that from these chambers, the grand hypogeum used for the celebration of the Osiris mysteries was constructed by Marinta. Originally, the temple was 550 feet long, but much of the forecourt is now barely recognizable. The remaining well-preserved section is about 250 feet long and 350 feet wide, including the side wing. Storage magazines for food and offerings were built on either side of the forecourts, and a small palace for the king and his entourage was located southeast of the first forecourt. Aside from the list of pharaohs and a tribute to Ramesses II, the temple's themes are primarily religious, focusing on the king's transformation after death. The temple reliefs are renowned for their artistic elegance, blending the archaic styles of earlier dynasties with the dynamic reliefs of the late 18th dynasty. Much of the sculpture work was first published in hand copies by August Mariette, and the temple has been partially documented by Amos Calvely and Myrtle Broom in their 4-volume publication The Temple of King Sethos I at Abydos *. Just behind the Temple of Seti I lies one of Abydos' most enigmatic structures, the Osirian. Believed to represent the tomb of Osiris, this subterranean chamber was designed to invoke the waters of the primeval ocean, symbolizing the eternal cycle of life and death. The Osirian, also known as the Osirian, is an ancient Egyptian temple situated behind the Temple of Seti I. It forms an essential part of Seti I's funerary complex and was constructed to resemble the tombs of the Valley of the Kings from the 18th dynasty. The Osirian is fascinating not just for its architecture but for what it represents. It's a symbolic resurrection chamber deeply connected to the Egyptian beliefs in the afterlife. Some hieroglyphs carved above an arch at the site have been interpreted by esoteric and ufological communities as representing modern technology, particularly a helicopter image. However, this is actually the result of the stone being reused over time. The original inscription was made during Seti I's reign and translates to "He who repulses the 9 enemies of Egypt." Later, during the reign of Ramesses II, the carving was filled with plaster and reinscribed with the title "He who protects Egypt and overthrows the foreign countries." As the plaster eroded over time, both sets of inscriptions became partially visible, creating a layered effect that gives the appearance of overlapping hieroglyphs. The nearby Temple of Ramesses II was smaller and more straightforward in design compared to Seti I's temple. However, it featured an impressive series of historical scenes on its exterior, celebrating Ramesses II's achievements, with the lower portions still preserved. The outer walls were adorned with depictions of the Battle of Kadesh. Like Seti I, Ramesses II had a list of pharaohs in his temple, though this list was eventually fragmented, removed by the French consul, and sold to the British Museum. Ramses II, one of Egypt's most powerful and celebrated pharaohs, also left his mark on Abydos. His temple, though smaller than Seti I's, is equally impressive, showcasing the might and grandeur of his reign. The temple is filled with vivid depictions of Ramses' military victories and his divine status, reinforcing his legacy as a god-king. But Abydos is more than its temples. Beneath the sands lie the remains of the ancient city, including the royal necropolis where Egypt's earliest kings were buried. Archaeologists continue to uncover new discoveries here, revealing more about the lives of those who once called this sacred place home. The royal necropolises of the earliest dynasties were located about a mile into the desert at a site now called Melqaab, meaning the mother of pots, named after the numerous pottery fragments left by pilgrims over time. The earliest tombs were simple pits, with one measuring about 10 by 20 feet, lined with brick walls and originally roofed with timber and matting. Other pre-Menes tombs were larger, about 15 by 25 feet, with Menes probable to being of similar size. Over time, these tombs grew in size and complexity, incorporating surrounding chambers for offerings and large wooden sepulchres in the middle of brick-lined pits. Servants of the pharaoh were often buried in rows of small pits around the royal chamber, with dozens of such burials being typical. Some tombs, like that of Mernith, even contained sacrificed animals such as asses and evidence of human sacrifice, such as 118 servants, though this practice later transitioned to symbolic offerings. By the end of the Second Dynasty, tomb construction evolved into a long passage with chambers on either side, with the royal burial placed centrally. The largest tombs covered over 3,000 square meters, though it is possible these were several tombs built closely together. While much of the tomb contents were destroyed by plunderers, enough remains to show that mummies were adorned with rich jewelry and the tombs were filled with valuable stone vases, wine, perfumed ointments, and other supplies. Ivory and ebony tablets recorded the yearly annals of the reigns, and over 200 types of seals found in the tombs provide insight into the administrative arrangements of the time. A cemetery for private individuals was established during the First Dynasty, with some simple pit tombs in the town. This cemetery expanded significantly during the 12th and 13th dynasties and contained many wealthy tombs. From the 18th to 20th dynasties, many fine tombs were built, and burials continued at the site through the Roman period. Unfortunately, during excavations by August Mariette's workmen, hundreds of funerary steles were removed without proper documentation. Later excavations by Edward R. Eyerding, McIver, and John Garsting were better recorded. Every new find brings us closer to understanding the world of the ancient Egyptians and the role Abydos played in shaping their beliefs and culture. Some of the tomb structures, referred to as forts by modern researchers, are located behind the ancient town. One of these, known as Shunnit Zebib, measures approximately 450 by 250 feet, 137 by 76 meters, and still stands 30 feet, 9.1 meters high. It was constructed by Khosakemwy, the last pharaoh of the Second Dynasty. Another nearby structure, nearly as large, is believed to be older than Khosakemwy's. A third fort, more square in shape, is now the site of a convent belonging to the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, though its exact age remains unknown. Today, Abydos remains a place of pilgrimage, not just for spiritual seekers, but for historians, archaeologists, and travelers. Its legacy endures in the hearts of those who walk its sacred grounds, who gaze upon its ancient carvings, and who feel the weight of its history. Abydos is more than just an archaeological site. It's a connection to our past, a testament to the human spirit, and a reminder of the mysteries that continue to beckon us across time. As the sands of time shift and the desert winds blow, Abydos stands as a sentinel of history, guarding the secrets of a civilization that once ruled the world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Abydos. Subscribe to our channel for more explorations of the ancient world, and let us know in the comments what mysteries you'd like to uncover next.